Matthew Beltz. We've got Rosario Corso here, actor, writer, director, producer. And we were just talking about one of his most recent projects, Katie's Skin.
Katie's Skin.
So actually getting back into that conversation, I just wanted to do like a formal introduction.
Love that, yeah.
But what's it called? So how did that writing process start? Did the idea come from Steve, or was it like, did you bring him the script and then you guys started collaborating?
Brought him the script. So we'll get to that conversation, I think, at some point. But I had met Steve on a previous short that we produced, 44. Wanted to work with him just to like kind of expand your network of people to film with and networking as one does. And so we were kind of on a call one day just talking about we want to do something, like you were saying, with what we are limited to.
Mm-hmm.
What spaces do we have? You know, let's do something quick that's not going to cost a lot of money. It's like, let's come up with an idea. So I had been circulating this idea in my head about a crazy twin that kind of hijacks her sister's life and her husband doesn't know about it. So I brought that to Steve. He liked it. I got a first draft, and then we just kind of like
chopped and screwed
it all to where it was.
You guys both wanted it.
Both wanted it.
Now, where did this whole horror thing come for you? Because when we like met each other all those years ago, you were very much entrenched in like comedy, drama, and then
because my life's a comedy, so I gotta try and escape it at some point. I think horror is a good way to
do the same thing,
but
get those demons out.
Get my demons out.
Yeah.
No, I love horror, man. Horror is my fucking jam. Halloween is cursing allowed?
Cursing is definitely allowed. Fucking A.
Cock, balls, shit, tits. All right. Just want to get that out of the way. I've loved horror. Halloween's like my favorite holiday. And I'm the youngest of 5 siblings, so I have 2 older brothers. So when I was 7, there's a 7-year age gap. My brother was 14, and they were watching Nightmare on Elm Street. And I would sneak in the room, and they weren't kicking me out, and my parents weren't around to kick me out. So I've been absorbing Nightmare on Elm Street, The Shining, Friday the 13th, like from such a young age that I kind of just morphed into wanting to make horror movies.
Is Elm Street your favorite?
As far as a horror goes?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no. Short answer, long answer, no. We're here for 5 minutes as I'm thinking about it. No, that's another. I don't want to get back into what my favorite horror movie is. I can't do it. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole.
We could go down a rabbit hole. Yeah, man. I just love having you. I'm actually really excited to have you on the podcast today because you just bring an energy with you wherever you go.
The energy resonates, dude.
It's mutual. Yeah, man. But okay, so getting back to Katie's Skin, what was the filming process like? So I think you said earlier, just was over a couple of days.
Yep. So we shot it back to back 2 Fridays. I think it was in like March. Maybe a little earlier, but yeah, it was 2 Fridays back to back. We shot at my sister's sister-in-law's house for the dining room scene, and then we went to my sister's and shot in her basement. So, keep it in the family and kind of use what you have. But
small crew.
There was, I think, 10 of us on day 1 and probably like 15 on day 2. And everyone just brought their A game, man. And I think like, I'm sure there are stats that point against this, but I truly believe that like when you have good energy, whether it's a short or whether it's a longer form production, the product is better. And I don't know if you agree with that or if you acknowledge that, but I think that even if the movie sucks, right?
Sure.
Let's just say it this way. To the people involved, it doesn't suck. And the reason why I feel like it wouldn't suck is because the people involved in making that had such a good time doing it. And you can't always trust Rotten Tomatoes, dude. Ninja Turtles 1 has like a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. Movie's awesome. You know,
I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes at all.
Don't trust it.
Have you ever gone down the rabbit hole of just, so obviously everybody can just like give it a tomato or give it a, I've tried clicking on all those reviews. They don't exist.
They don't exist.
They don't exist.
Don't get me started. This is a film podcast, not a conspiracy podcast, and I'll go all.
There's a conspiracy surrounding Rotten Tomatoes that I think needs to be brought to light.
It's crazy.
Something's rotten. With Rotten Tomatoes.
And there's the documentary title.
Yeah, that would be a good one. But going back to what you were saying, I mean, for the record, Katie's skin is good. It's really good.
Thank you.
But I think what
but
it actually sucks.
Yeah. So,
but I think what you're getting at in regards to, you know, the people that work on the set and like having a good, what you're talking about is essentially building a community. And I feel like I've experienced this in my own life, but it's like, you know, you got this core group of people and then you kind of build the community outwards. And I feel like every time you bring those people back into the mix, your product's only going to get better because your communication is going to be more seamless. 100%. They're going to have an idea of what you're going for and what they can bring to the table. You're going to know what they can bring to the table, and you're only going to be putting them in a position to do better.
Trust.
Art.
Hashtag
art.
Guys.
That's going to be trending.
That's going to be trending.
End of this.
Can we bounce around?
We can bounce anywhere you want to.
Be like my brain, very just all over the place.
Yeah.
And that's the energy we're looking for. Right?
And that's the energy we're looking for.
I was watching your episode with Shawn and Yapchik, and
he's my favorite. I love
Yapchik. He brought up something on the podcast that I was like, it's been resonating with me, and I've been thinking about it. He was talking about bringing, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, the big Hollywood ideas into a short film format, right? And I've been thinking about that. I'm like, why isn't there something like that? Why isn't there a streaming service that is tailored to people's busy schedules? You know, if I'm on the train or if I'm in line at the grocery store, a grueling line at the grocery store, and I have like 5 minutes or you're on your phone, you could be absorbing good art.
But and when you say that, you're talking about like short, like film form content. Art. Came up with the name for it, Ardent, and it combines Ardent, ARTENT. It's a working title, but it combines art with content. Okay. And essentially, what it is it's an app geared towards people's busy lives and short attention spans. Think about when you're on TikTok. I'll spend 2 minutes sometimes on one TikTok video that there's nothing other than like people just doing silly things just
and
doom scrolling, whether it's Instagram or TikTok,
and there's no art. It's getting lost.
I think there's an art form to all that stuff, but it's not what you're talking about. I don't think like there's not really substance there.
Story.
Yeah,
there has to be story. There has to be a certain character
something
there
that, you know, you can relate to and feel.
Right, that stands out. Versus, you know, the popcorn. I'm just entertained by this doom scrolling of what I'm watching.
Yeah.
But there was an app, and it was called Quibi. I don't know if you've heard of Quibi.
Yeah, I know Quibi.
So,
because the producers we worked with on Out of the Blue, that's where that movie went or got funded from. That's how I know it.
Shut the.
I'm pretty sure. Or am I thinking of something else?
Something else, because Quibi was a startup in 2018, and it's literally was a streaming service for short films and TV series. So like episodes of the TV series would be like 5-minute episodes, and they would release like once a week, like an HBO format, you know? But the episodes are 5 minutes long. And then there's also short films that are max at 10 to 12 minutes. And that's what it failed miserably. They poured they got $1.7 billion worth of investments, put it towards like all the content, and it just.
What do you attribute that to? Do you attribute that to the content not being good?
Yes. I contribute to.
Or do you contribute it to maybe people wanting to actually engage in more like popcorn bullshit and.
No. My buddy Pat actually brought up a good point, because I was sharing this idea with him, and he said where he thinks it fell short is they didn't let it evolve on its own.
Okay. They kind of tried to force it.
Yes. They put all this content there, and you're investing in this production, without really taking care into like, what are the stories here? What are these showing?
Well, that's what happened with Netflix, and they had to roll that whole concept back.
So think about when Netflix started, right? Why would you pay for Netflix? You paid for Orange is the New Black. You paid for House of Cards. Yep. You paid for these Netflix originals that when it was really getting up at the ground running, it was amazing content. It was amazing storytelling. Art. So what I'd want to do with Ardent, I don't know, might have to work on the the title a little bit.
It's just I just keep getting confused
Arden.
because it sounds like Arden, like Ardin. I don't even know if that's a word.
Arden, we'll just call it
Or
Arden.
R-E-N.
Arden.
Yeah.
But to create an app, a platform, a streaming service where it is short films. But there's also an indie subcategory. So imagine if tomorrow Martin Scorsese directed a 10-minute short film with
watch it.
Leonardo DiCaprio. You'd watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those big budget, like Yapchik was saying, those big ideas in short films, those big names in short films. And on top of that, it allows a platform for indie filmmakers such as ourselves to put our content on there for people to go and watch. Now, how
having a big name like Scorsese would help kind of give credence to anybody else that's on that platform. And is it like a vetted thing?
Because that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, how do we monetize it? You know, how do we like? And what I was thinking is for film festivals, right?
Do you like the film festival route, by the way? Have you engaged in it a lot?
I do.
You do.
We also started one. Well, in Rehoboth.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What's the film festival?
It's called Rehoboth Film Festival. I actually
wait. Yeah. You just had an event, right? Is it like yearly?
This was year 1, and they want to do it again next year.
Fuck yeah! Congratulations.
Which is cool, dude. It
was a success. You guys had a good turnout. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
We sold out. It was cool. It was outside in the cold, and there was a projector, and we did our best to like tell the community, hey, it's going to be outside. Like, you know, we're offering like coffee and donuts, and it was a great turnout.
Some hot chocolate
for the nice crispy night. And there was a mass exodus actually after writer's block. Steve's movie.
Yeah.
But not because it was bad, but because people came there and I think they were expecting like not gory, crazy horror genre films. So like,
was it tailored towards horror?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Katie's Skin, writer's block. We did one of, I just froze. We met filmmakers in Chicago, and there was a film called Dead Men that we screened up there. So it was definitely genre oriented. So when people got up, because we had screened, I see I'm bouncing around. We had screened our film 44, which is about this redheaded ghost, and it's a true New England ghost story. And I overheard people that like left after a certain point. They're like, I'm really disappointed by that. I wanted more of that redheaded guy. Like,
oh, really?
So there were people there.
Kudos to you.
Right? But there were people there from the town that they really wanted as a community.
You like offended the whole town of Rehoboth. They thought they were going to see like a family-friendly like.
If I was sweating picking out movies, you can imagine sweating as all these people are watching.
Yeah, why are they leaving?
Yeah, why are they looking? No, but it was a great turnout, and it's honestly owed all to my mom.
Because you guys started a production company together, right? Yeah. I've never met your mother, but I've seen
you will.
I've seen videos of her for your most recent film and like promoting it for the crowdfunding, and she seems like a pistol, dude.
She's a dreamer, and I think that's where I get it from. You know, I think,
and I've always said that you are a dreamer.
Yeah, and I'm not a quitter.
Yeah.
If you see my nose here, if we can zoom in on this, I had a pimple that I dug into, and I'm not a quitter. So when I see something, I want to get it.
I got that fucker.
And that's how my mom is. You know, when she has her mind set on something, like she wants to start a festival, she did it. And I was very kind of took a back seat on it, and it was her and my partner Emily, who I'd love to talk about her too. There's so much to talk about. How much are we limited on this podcast?
We keep it to like an hour 15.
What are we at?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it later.
If the conversation's good, we keep it going.
I'm sweating. All right, good.
So you got the film festival, and what was her whole motivation for getting that up and running? Was she
44? Like, you know that.
I guess we should talk more about 44.
Well, we want to go.
Give us the
log.
What if
we go to the beginning?
Let's go to the.
What if we go back?
Would it be 44?
It would be 44. It would be a little before 44. We're going to go back. We're going to go back to Whitney Houston movie. I was the first team PA on that. And
Oh, you're serious? Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were joking. Let's go back to the
we are going there. Okay.
But you're talking about, what is that? I Want to Dance with Somebody. Which isn't all that long ago. So
yeah, not that
I Want to Dance with Somebody. You were working as a PA on that.
Yes, I was working as a PA. I don't want to talk about, we got so much to talk about.
But what happened on that movie?
I met my partner Emily.
Okay. Who you produce with?
Who I produce with,
and
act
she was in
with,
Katie's
and
Skin.
she's in Katie's
Yep.
Skin, and she has been like a rock in my life as far as motivating me to make things. And I think a lot of people can appreciate this, but it's not easy. Nothing in life's easy.
Mm.
Being a creative isn't easy. Being a grip isn't easy. Being set deck isn't easy. Being a producer isn't easy. Being an artist, being a lawyer. There are a lot of things in life that like aren't easy. And
Grocery store clerk.
Grocery store clerk, you know? So I think every level of like stress is kind of subjective experience, and what you do with that stress and how you handle it says a lot.
And how are you handling it prior to meeting her?
Well, I got stuck.
Mm-hmm. I guess the reason I asked that is because since meeting her, you've had a flood of projects
for sure, yeah,
that you've been involved in.
Yeah.
So she clearly was
she did. That's what I said. She was fuel to a fire that was dwindling in me. And I think part of it is I'm 32 years old and I have some short films, you know, I've acted in things, but like it's a struggle, you know, like, and everyone in our industry right now is struggling and not working. And up to the point where we kind of stopped working, you know, when the strikes really hit in and there's that low period, I just reached a point where I'm on the next job. I'm a locations assistant. I'm a first team PA, but I'm not doing anything creative.
Yeah.
I'm task driven, which is great. You know, there are people that do that and thrive in it, but
if you've got that spirit where like you feel that need to create and you find yourself in just that next job mentality, it's soul crushing.
And you get stuck.
Yeah.
And especially when you sit there and you realize like, I can do this. When you look at the director, when you look at the actors, when you look at what's going on, you're like, I can do it. You know, and
having somebody in your corner that's going to be like, no, I know you can do that. So why the fuck aren't you?
Right. So, but like, I can do this. Hey, Rosario, go to 2. We need some signage up in crew parking. Copy that. And then you step away from the dream, you know, and you do the task, which is like important. But she definitely, we met at a period in my life where I got complacent. I wasn't writing. I wasn't creating. And she kind of gave me that spark to like
do the thing,
start doing the thing, man. And really like have something to show. And like I said, 32, I have one thing to show out of my career, 2 things to show. The first one is Fetch with Rough Ruffman. I was 12 years old. It was a PBS show. You've heard of this. Yeah. Rough Ruffman, old Rough Ruffman. So I've wanted to act all my life, right? I have that experience, you know, I have that.
And you have the talent.
Thank you. Got the tools, got the talent.
You got the tools and the talent.
And then I got to tell you about my highlight experience real quick with my feature film debut.
On Dexter? No, on
oh, look, I got a resume on Dexter.
Out of the Blue?
But no, not Out of the Blue. On Free Guy.
Oh, okay. You were in Free Guy.
I was in Free Guy. Shawn Levy's Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Okay. I auditioned for this movie.
Yep.
Went great. Auditioned for the casting director. Got a call back with Shawn.
Okay.
The director, Shawn Levy. I went in, read the lines. Great. Left. Third callback with him again, right? And there's something there, you know, the fact that you have this director, Shawn Levy, that is like calling you back in, that it's a good feeling that there's something here that he likes. So I go in for the third audition and I got a speaking part in this movie. When I found out my role, it was a little confusing.
What was the role?
I was cast as Silhouetted Gamer.
Okay. What does that mean?
Brace yourself. Have you ever watched like those old mob documentaries where the mobster's talking, but they can't reveal their face?
Yeah.
So they're hidden in dark shadow?
Yeah.
You don't see my face. I'm completely silhouetted. So
they didn't want all this?
They didn't want all this, dude. But I'm like, okay, well, I have at least like a minute worth of lines. Like I do a little monologue piece. Maybe not a minute. That's being generous. Probably like 20 seconds. And I'm like, all right, I still got that. You know, I'm still on set. I'm doing it. Movie comes out. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. I'm like, all right, I'm going to be in this movie. I went to see it with my mom, no less. And the part comes up. I'm there, silhouetted gamer. Something is off.
Oh, no.
About my voice.
Oh, no.
Credits roll. They had dubbed John Krasinski's voice over my lines.
Oh, God.
So not only did my face not get in it, but John Krasinski took my lines.
You got
And to
beef
me,
with John now?
I took a step back and I'm like, it's actually pretty cool. It sucks, but it's cool. So, you know, there's experience of like wanting to act that I have gotten these kind of opportunities before.
But now it seems like, you know, you're kind of, well, I guess Katie's Skin would probably be, well, you wrote yourself. So you're writing and directing parts for yourself now.
I think, how else are you going to do it?
Yeah.
I go on a very untraditional route of things. I want to.
I don't think there's any tradition to this industry. I say this, well, I used to say it. I haven't been working in a while, but like when PAs would ask me, you know, or like people offset would ask me, how do you get into the industry? I'd literally tell them there's no path. There's no path for anybody.
Dude, it's a fork that just.
Yeah. It's a gigantic Rubik's Cube.
Yeah. And no one is easier than the other unless, you know, you're like a Nepo baby. But even then, like, I can't understand.
I would imagine there's some stress that comes with being a Nepo baby too.
Yeah, like big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And also, I'd like to think, you know, you need to be talented. Like, I feel like you can have whatever actor as a dad or director as a dad, and they can get you in things, but
I think a lot of it comes down to work ethic too, man.
For sure.
I mean, you can be talented, but if you don't have a work ethic, if you don't have a drive, it's like, what are we even doing here?
But to that point, there are actors that audition. Right? You go out. To me, that's the traditional route. You know, you work a waiting job and you're out auditioning until like something hits and you're a working actor. I love being on set, man.
Yeah.
I love being behind that curtain.
Yeah.
So to me, if I can be with the crew, be in the sticks with the soldiers, but also be networking with actors on set, producers on set to like get into that position that I ultimately want to be in, I'd rather take that route. And you brought up Dexter, which was another thing that I was able to get in.
Well, that's exactly what you did.
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
You're extremely good at networking. You've just kind of got that external personality where it's extroverted personality.
Sicilian. It's talking too much. It's talking too much until, all right, just come on.
Yeah. But no, that was a fun. I remember being very happy for
that was
you,
amazing.
like on the locations team for Dexter.
Yeah.
Because it was a small bit, but we knew how much you wanted.
It was a small bit, but you know what I mean? Like that goes by just talking to people, like talking to Bill Carrero, who is the best. And he like had the position to be like, yeah, put him in that. And not only was I in that for a second, Marcos Sega, right? That was Sega? Marcos Sega.
The director,
Director. He was like, let's throw a mic on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like at first it was
just comes up with.
You know, which is cool that they're seeing something that warrants like mic him up, and let him like say some things, which I think is, but just to continue down that train, just did a law firm commercial, and the same thing. I was actually with Cam on it, Morton, who's the best, and he. Two actors didn't show up. They needed us to play like street hockey. So we were out there playing street hockey and I got like a bloodied lip and everything and performed. And the director came up to me at the end of the day. He's like, that was really good. You really looked pissed. And I was like, thanks, man. I'm like, I love doing it. And he's like, I'm going to get you in tomorrow. And then the next day on day 2, they put me in as another role.
Oh, that's awesome.
In the commercial.
That's great, man.
But I'd rather go that route, you know? And I want to produce, man. I want to act. I want to write. But you got to understand how a set works. You got to understand what other people's jobs are and how down to like, and I don't even want to say it like this, but crafty is one of the most important departments on any production because you're on a set for 16 hours out of the day, man, and food is fuel.
Yeah.
And they keep you fueled.
Yeah.
Food keeps you happy. It keeps you going.
Yeah.
And
always make friends with the crafty
always
folks.
make friends, right? And that's the thing. Or what about the Teamsters? You know, I feel like you got to be friends with every department, but like to me, Teamsters and crafty, because who drives you? Who fucking comes and picks you up? You know, who they can make or break your life. And
coming from locations, the thing that it's always my favorite thing is nobody understands the amount of trucks we travel with.
Oh,
They always
no.
assume like it just magically gets there.
Yeah.
And then I love their reactions, like when they see base camp has landed, when they see the work trucks have landed, they're like, "Holy shit!"
And that's Hollywood. That's the big picture, you know. That's the big idea.
Yeah, I was reading a biography on Kubrick, which was recommended to me by a guest we had, Mike Palumbo.
Yeah.
And on Barry Lyndon, Kubrick wanted to travel light, so he ended up buying like 15 VW vans, and that was his transpo.
Boom.
Yeah,
Dude, if you can do it and it works, why not, right?
yeah. Yeah, man, it's really good. So it sounds like acting is really your main focus, though. But I also wanted to pick up. You'd said I want to do all of these things, write, produce. You're doing it, man. You're doing it really well too.
Thanks.
Like you got, Route 44 under your belt. You got
Yeah.
Katie's Skin, and I was very pleased to just see this
Yeah.
with your directorial debut. That hit so hard, and it was actually the way that we watched it was the perfect setting, and like it couldn't have been more you.
It's a movie
Like,
that
iPhone.
it's
got
a
a
movie
buffer.
that's straight to JetBlue airline, meaning that's how it should be watched, is on a small screen when you have nothing else to watch on the plane.
But no, I mean it sincerely. Like that was a fun ride. I know
Thanks.
you've still got a lot to do
Yeah.
with it, but
Thanks.
that was crazy, man.
Thank you.
And how long did you work on that? Like
It
between
was one day. It was one day.
No, I mean like between like the initial idea to where you are now.
3 weeks.
That's it.
Oh, it was. I just wanted to like get
it
it under the
done.
belt. Wrote it, storyboarded it. We built a little schedule, had everyone over for one night, and we did it in 7 hours.
That's awesome.
Um,
It's fun.
That's what all it's supposed to be. You know, it's this ain't that kind of movie, all right? I'm not trying to fucking.
No.
This ain't Schindler's List.
It's not,
right?
you don't need to go full method for
Yeah,
this.
you don't.
No. We've all been in that situation.
No, but this is now. Can I get philosophical? I wanted to get into this.
Because when we started this, or before the cameras were rolling, you were saying you were having some philosophical epiphanies about the film industry and maybe your place
as a
in
whole.
Or just the film industry.
Film industry and my place in it. I think you can appreciate this.
Lay it on me.
Because you are a director.
Mhm.
You are a producer.
Mhm.
You are a writer. But you've also, like me, you didn't just step into that position. You rose into that position over the course of your career by working in locations, working on set in a capacity that wasn't creative, but you understand the world in which what you want to create takes place. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the example I love to use, but it's like an old wooden ship, right?
I think it was named Diversity.
Diversity. That's so glad you got it. I think Diversity was an old wooden ship. Thank you. That's how I always want to say it, and it's good that someone picks up on it. I think it's like an old wooden ship. What do you have on that ship? You have your captain and your crew.
Yep.
Does that ship sail if it's just the captain on it?
No, you need your sail, you need your rudder, you need your, helm.
And you need all the crew there to
compass.
Operate, right?
You need it's all gonna peak at the same time.
It is a journey that any production, whether it's a short film, whether it's a $80 million film, it's a journey that is taken together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the problem with our industry is we create a separation. And there's
How so? What do you mean?
Above the line and below the line.
Yeah.
That is a separation of factors, of individuals and what their job is worth, essentially.
If I may, it kind of goes back to what you were saying at the beginning of this, in regards to like walking away, like you walk away from a project and you had different things at stake. You have different things you're looking to get out of it. The Hollywood film industry, big business, it's not always cohesive with the crew and the above the line.
I would say always is generous. Like saying like it's not always, like to me it's never. It is such a rare thing that it might as well be never, and opposed to like not always, but that's semantics.
Well, it's like, how do you get that many people? We worked on Dexter. That was like 250 people on set every day. every single day there was roughly about 250 people. How do you get 250 people to have the same creative or financial motivation to make this thing and make them love the process and love everybody they're working with? Whereas like these smaller projects like you and I work on,
Right.
you know, the
There's
15,
more
15 people, 25 people, they've all got a stake in the creative vision
right.
of the thing.
100%. It's a weird way of answering, but you're reaching a 16-hour day, right?
Mhm.
You're feeling groggy. You're starting to hate the producers. You're hating the AD department. You're hating the director.
Yeah.
What do they bring you to make you a little happy in that final stretch?
Food. Yeah. Coffee, maybe.
And it does work. Think about the late nights on Dexter when we'd get pizza and we'd get second meal, and like it perks you up, right? It's the idea that this production is taking care of you.
Yeah. That makes a big difference.
You're acknowledged.
Yeah.
You're here and you're important, and we got to take care of you. When an actor walks on a set, they get everything. I just worked on a project last summer. I'm not going to name the actor, but this lead actor needed a mansion for a green room space, which was next to our shooting location. At the
What
end
do you mean? Like they wanted the whole mansion just to hang out in?
Yes. And they got it.
Oh.
And they got it. Oh yeah, this was a top tier actor. Where I think there is a very horrible gap is, as an actor, you bring in the views, right? That's the truth. You bring in views, you bring in the money, essentially. But the difference between what those actors are getting paid and what the crew is getting paid, a little give and take goes such a long way. And it doesn't even like come down to a monetary standpoint of it. It's as simple as, I'm an A-list actor. I walk on a set. Hey man, how you doing? You having a good day? And that makes me feel present. It makes me feel here. Like, I'm here with you, man. I'm not here for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's an energy as a producer, as a director, as an actor, I want to create on every set that I work on, that everyone truly feels heard. Your question is, how do you do that when you're working with a crew of like 250?
I have the perfect answer, and I think you were here for this experience. When we worked on Nosferatu season 2, Zachary Quinto was the lead. He was number 1 on the call sheet, and we were doing like overnight winter shoots. And he would, I know it seems like a very pithy thing to throw out there, but it meant a lot. He would hire like coffee trucks.
Oh my God.
Like specialty espresso coffee trucks. And they would come for like 2 hours on set in the middle of the night. And, you know, he would write a note to the crew, really appreciate you. He's not interacting with every one of us individually, but that, as somebody so high up on the call sheet, that creates an atmosphere automatically. Such a small gesture on his part, but that's a huge gesture for the crew. Stuff like that.
And
goes
that's
a
the
long
power
way.
you have above the line.
Yeah.
That's the power the above the line has. Would you rather, I'm throwing so many analogies.
I love it. No,
you're on a battlefield, right?
Yep.
And you're facing another army.
Yep.
Would you rather be, and you're a soldier in this army, would you rather be behind your king leading or in front of your king?
Behind. Wait, what do you mean?
No, you were right. That I'm saying you're
yeah,
in a battlefield, right? Would you rather be like your king stands front and leads
100%,
or he's marching and just...
No, I don't. The guy.
Why am I fighting? Why am I fighting for this guy?
I want to know he has a stake in this ordeal.
And that's what it is. I feel like a good director, a good producer, you lead. You're a leader.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just snap orders, you know? And at the end of the day, what I kind of am starting to realize is, with every short film, and I'm sure you can appreciate this, especially on a big budget, but who really gets something truly out of it?
Mm-hmm.
The director? Is
100%,
it
yeah.
writer, actor? But like the people that come in to do your sound, which is so important, like it's such an important thing, but they don't walk away with it with the same level of, it's mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think going again to the difference between like a bigger budget project,
right,
like Dexter, or like even you could call it a tier 0, like something that's $1 million and under. I think that there's, admittedly, on the above the line side, there's probably a complete, or at least I would say they have the right to be completely indifferent to how the
Right.
below the line feel.
Yeah.
And the only reason I would say that is because if you're on a union shoot, you are getting paid dumb amounts of money, even if you're below the line.
Totally.
So there is that where it's like, you're getting paid for this, like shut the fuck up.
Right.
But on like those smaller shoots,
Oh,
like
you're
where
not gonna be, yeah, dude, you're not getting paid
good.
But
or
how
at
does
all.
that? But here's the thing: it's like, why?
So you have to foster that kind of a community on a smaller shoot. Is my point.
Right. And I think, but that's my like, what I want to do is how can I foster that energy on a bigger production? It's so funny because the option is like, right? How do you take the big Hollywood ideas and put them like into a short film?
Yeah,
kind of format. My take is, how do you take the energy in the short film world
and bring it to the
bigger format? You know, which they really think about it. If you brought up a good point. It's like, you're as a union, right? Whether you're Grip or whether you're 481, you're making good money, right, on these productions. But are you making $20 million?
No.
There, $20 million next to what's considered good money for a laborer. To me, that's a very significant gap. That could, the slightest, dude, it's an inch. It's $2. What $2 does to your paycheck at the end of the week, you know, is like,
I want to agree with you to a certain degree, but also like putting on my producer's hat, it's like,
this is good. Oh, here
that actor who might be getting 20 million, they're getting 20 million for a reason, because, you know,
for sure,
if Leonardo DiCaprio is on your movie and he's getting 20 million, you know that you're getting that 20 million back and then some.
For
like,
sure.
You know, the PA who put up the signs directing me to the bathroom, he's not going to make or break this movie. So we got to like pamper Leo if he wants to be pampered.
Right.
You know? So there is that difference. But as a whole, like the argument that you're making about fostering an atmosphere on set, I think should come from the top and bottom.
It resonates, dude.
Yeah.
It's, but like you said about that PA, right? Who goes and puts up the bathroom sign.
If they're getting verbally abused by the producers.
But also, like, how's anyone going to find the bathroom if that PA didn't put the sign up? You know, like everyone's...
And then us in the locations being like, how do they not know? How do they not know about this?
Think about the old wooden ship, right? There are people that are like fucking shoveling the shit or whatever. Like, ships were generated like that, but
yeah, we got to define.
I'm not an architect. Yeah,
which
I'm not much
model
of an
ship we're on.
Shuffling.
Is this like an old, like really an old wooden ship, or is this
the first of its kind? This is the first wooden ship.
Yeah,
but no, I agree with you that you're gonna get that 20 million back, right? And that's why that. But it's the sense of putting the bathroom sign up.
Yeah,
is an important job.
It is.
But when I say an important, obviously it's not as important as what the actor has to do to like bring this movie home. You know what I mean? But it's important nonetheless. And yes, to the full circle of that point, it's the appreciation goes such a long way that if it's not a monetary appreciation, just the verbal appreciation will make you feel like you're making $1 million working on that production. That's the power of an actor. You know, that's the power of someone who comes in and it's like, to me, if tomorrow Key Grip made $10 million for a movie just like an actor did, right? Which is probably won't happen.
I'd be like, where's mine?
I'd be right. But I'd also be like, I want to be a Grip.
Yeah.
I want to be why do you want to be an actor? Like, I want to be an actor because I love storytelling. Actually, I've been thinking about this one. I'm an anxious person. I don't know if you guys can tell. And to me, acting allows an escape from my anxiety, because when I'm acting and when I'm performing in a role, I'm thinking about being that character. I'm not thinking
You're not in your own head.
I'm not in my own head.
You get to be in somebody else's head.
I get to be in someone else's head. So it's an escape from my anxiety. So
have you ever taken acting classes?
Not religiously, no.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
because it comes naturally.
Thank you.
I just saw we had Mark Meager as a guest.
Take two. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we just saw you. Well, we went to we had the Summer Dance. Gabrielle Rossin, she had put on Summer Dance film festival.
Well, dude, I think that's a popping up thing that it's like
creating your own. Well, it's bringing it back to the local.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's bringing the community together, man. We went to a film festival in Florida. And the coordinator got up on stage, and one of the first things he said was, he's looking around at the audience, and he's like, guys, fuck the studios. Fuck the networks. He's like,
seriously though,
this is art. This is indie
art. Hashtag trending after this episode.
art.
No, but it's funny because going back to Summer Dance, we felt the same thing there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a varying degree of, like quality of movies, but like substance wise, like they were all pretty fucking great.
Yeah.
And talking with all these filmmakers and even doing it on the podcast here, like we've talked to a lot of people, and it just feels like it's happening on a smaller level. It's evolving.
It's ardent.
I'm
telling you, dude.
Well, Ace has been talking about this for a while, and that was like a large part of why he wanted to start the podcast. Was we've been talking a lot about, and he's been seeing what's been going on in like the studio system, and they're all fucked.
Yeah,
like they're recalibrating to the highest degree right now, but shit is still going to be made, and he's been saying for a while now. I think it's going back to the indie level. I think we're going to kind of see like a 70s era resurgence of small movies with big ideas, as Yapchik's been talking about.
Terrifier.
That just, well,
no, I'm not saying like Terrifier, but I'm saying
big ideas.
Big ideas. That's a testament though to like, look at this movie, dude. That is an indie movie. That is an indie movie
that is blown up the box office.
Blown up the box office.
Yeah.
So all these studio heads are probably like, huh?
What's going on?
These guys can actually make movies without us?
Yeah. So I'm excited for that to happen, and seeing how many artists like yourself, like Steve, like Gabby, all of these, like Yapchik, they're all coming up with these really cool ideas, and they're executing them on a small scale and trying to get them out there. And on top of that, you bring up the idea about, people like small festivals popping up. I think the distribution model is also going through a rapid experiment right now.
Totally.
Like one of my favorite examples, I had brought him up earlier before the cameras were rolling, but Harmony Korine, the director of Spring Breakers, Gummo, all these movies, he's convinced that the old studio way of consuming movies is dead. I think that he's onto something there, but not entirely correct. But his point was, there are different ways to get audience to engage with your movie. So he made a movie called Aggro Drift, and he didn't put it in any theaters. You want to know what he did? He brought it to strip clubs, and he would premiere the movie at the strip club, and then he had a bunch of merch. There was like glow in the dark 3D printed helmets and masks, and he would then do a DJ set like with a bunch of dancers with him, and like it was a wild way, but he did it like he hit up 5 or 10 different cities and like got a small cult following around this movie. So it's
no one way
to do it. It's just about what is your story that you're telling, and how do you get it out there in a way that is appropriate to the vibe of the thing.
That is a great point, that it's your journey, because like that, when I feel down, that I look at Tom Holland, I'm like, fuck, he's doing all right as an actor, and I'm like, I'm reaching past my prime, I'll tell it.
No, you're aging into like a fine wine.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's the sense that when you are...
I love the Rosario 35 blend.
35, I know, yeah. Just wait, dude. Wait till 36 comes out.
36 is going to blow everybody's mind.
But it's your own journey, man. And like, I'll get there when I get there. If I tell Emily this, and I'm like, hey, it's tough, right? We're making these things, you're investing a lot of money, you're not seeing anything back, like it's not going anywhere yet. It's going places, but you know what I mean. You're not like getting the comeback where it's like, oh, we just got all this money to make a feature because of this short film that we invested our money to make, like that hasn't happened yet, but that's a course of the journey. But what I tell her, I'm like, it's a struggle now, but if we were to say, hey, it's a struggle now, in 10 years though, right? I'm going to be 40 and she'll be close to 40. We're in. We're acting, we're writing, directing, we're making a living doing it. That's just our time. Success isn't, I feel like success is built on like, you have to have something by this age. You have to have this by this age.
It can't be that linear.
I feel like that's what but I'm agreeing with you.
You're fucking yourself if you think that. And I'm not saying you, but people in general.
100%.
success, I don't know. Like I used to think that way. Like I was always one of my favorite artists is Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
I know this is a little bit of a side tangent, but like I always thought to myself, I was like, he was 20 when he
That's
wrote
what I'm
Blowing in the
saying.
Wind and just blew up. And like when and then when I turned 20, I was like, I haven't done that. I'm fucked. My career's over.
You hear that fact, and then you look at my first one that I directed, and it's like,
Yeah.
here's what I'm doing.
Yeah. But another thing that I latch on to on the flip end of that, Ridley Scott didn't direct his first movie until he was 40.
Right. That's the point I'm making.
I mean, he had a whole backlog of commercials under his belt, but he had no fame until he was 40.
Commercial, dude, it's experience.
Yeah.
All I know is
nobody was looking to come and hire him to do a movie until 40.
You're
I think it was what, The Duelist or Alien?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're gaining experience.
Yep.
You know, and that's what it is. And then you reach a point where it's like, with directing for the first time, I was like, I'm not ready. I don't have a great sense of the technical. Like I don't have a technical mindset. I have like a creative, to me, like, oh, this would be cool, but I have no idea how to make it look cool. And that's where you fall on like the importance of your crew to like help bring that vision to life.
What would you tell your younger self sitting here now in regards to the industry and defining success?
That's a heavy question because I can't just answer that question at face value. Like I take it deeper.
We can get as deep or as shallow.
Do you want to go deep?
Yeah, we can go deep.
It's cliche, but life is short.
Yeah.
Life is fragile. And I think happiness is defined in the moment that you presently are, not in the moments that are coming ahead. And I think that it's great to look forward to things, and it's great to dream, but it's also important to recognize that the reality of life is I could leave here, get my car, and die on my way home in a car accident, and all that stress of like what's coming ahead. So it's like I look at what I've done in 2 years that I haven't done over the course of like 30 years, and I'm like, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I feel really good about like what I'm doing. I feel good about like working with Emily and creating projects and acting. And, it may not be at the level, but if I died tomorrow, I die happy knowing that I made something and I saw it from start to finish and it's out there. And I don't think it needs to be at a grand level of $1 million production for you to feel that success and feel that kind of, passion.
Amen to that, man.
So that's how I kind of, if I look back and told myself something, it's like, hey, you're going to still be here you're not going to succeed for a while. I still haven't succeeded, but don't quit. And
I think you've succeeded.
Thank you. Well, okay.
I think
I know
you
I went
succeeded.
back and
I saw 44.
But,
I saw Katie's Skin.
But what I mean by, yeah, you're right. And I went back on the one thing I was just preaching, but yeah, it is a success, and I would say that like, but the reality is, it's a success, but it's not the career yet. You still are pushing forward. You still are doing it. But again, yeah, I think
Bukowski once said, find what you love and let it kill you.
And like,
are you doing what you love?
I'm doing what I love, and it's going to kill me.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Then that's all that matters. Tell me, what is the status of 44? Is that going the festival route?
It's in the festival route.
Yeah?
We haven't heard back from a ton yet. We definitely took our time in post, more so than Katie's Skin with that, for visual effects purposes. But it's out there now, and we are developing a feature film for it. So
are you really?
Yeah, 44. It's interesting. I don't know if you've heard of New England Ghost Files.
No.
Okay, so New England Ghost Files is a book. I think it came out in the 80s by Charles Trek Robinson. And it's a book that chronicles these different ghost stories within New England. So one of them is like Lizzie Borden, and I think it's Fall River. And, he goes and interviews people. And they're all true ghost stories. So 44 is one of the ghost stories in the book. And it's about a red-headed hitchhiker that is seen on the stretch of highway in New England. And it's funny, they call him the red-headed hitchhiker because he's literally red flannel, dirty jeans, dirty boots, and just what stands out is flaming red hair.
Okay.
And people encounter him, and what's interesting is they'll stop and like pick him up. He just hitchhikes on the side of the road. They'll stop, they'll pick him up, and he'll like talk to them, but everyone always says that something's off about him. There's something in his eyes that's off. And then one moment he'll just disappear from the back seat and he'll appear like as they're driving next to the driver's window, just like waving at them. And he goes over the radio and is like, I'm gonna fuck you up or something. And he trolls people essentially. He doesn't like hurt people, but he like trolls people.
The Route 44
The Route
troll.
44 troll. So it is an untapped story though. And what we want to do is kind of like dive into the history of this ghost and really ground him
within the featured
world, and ground him where it's a personal spirit in opposed to like just an all out evil spirit. And I think it's too common that what is it? It's always just the demon.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what it is. And they're just strict. There's no redeeming quality about this demon. It's just like, we got to kill the demon. We want to try and do that with this ghost where it's total jump to a different cinematic universe for this, but Thanos, right?
You want to give him a Marvel backstory.
They're Marvel backstory in the sense that he's not just a base level villain. That
I'm going to bring it back to the genre you're working with, but Samara from The Ring. You want to give the Samara backstory.
Exactly.
You want to humanize her. Humanize him.
That's exactly it. Humanize him. So that's what we're trying to do. But what's cool is no one has brought this story to life. No one has ever done more with the redheaded ghost other than it's just in that book and in some like articles. So we literally beat it to the punch where we're bringing this true story to life for the first time.
Who are you working on the screenplay with?
With Cam and Emily.
Awesome.
So we did 44 together, and
Cam directed it?
And Cam directed it. And now we're expanding it into a feature. And Cam was great because I wrote the script and I sent it around a few people for feedback. But when I sent it to Cam, it really resonated with him. And he was very responsive and understood the story and grew up with the story too. So it was kind of just clicked. Just clicked, you know, and I really love the end product of it. And
can I tell you something funny? So Jack Geronimo, he did the color for my short film Odessa, and we used Frame.io.
Yeah,
but it was his account. So
you saw 40.
Well, I got an email one day, like months after we finished color. I'm like, what the fuck is this? When I click on it, I got a little nosy. I was like, oh, this is there. So I got to see like a very early cut, but then I thought it was rude to intrude on the creative process. So I logged myself out.
Fucked up, dude.
So fucked up.
You start commenting on the editing, like, you should
could
move
be better.
that. Could be better. Should move
So I got to
two
see
steps
it
to the right.
in its early incarnation, which I thought at the time was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then getting to see the final thing, I mean, hell of a movie, man.
Yeah.
Technically proficient. I loved the lighting. I loved the feeling. You guys gave it a real kind of spooky, classic New England feel.
And that's what we wanted to do. And that's owed all to the crew. Like, this is where I'm saying, like, you know, I wrote it, produced it, but like that movie would not have been made with just me, Cam, and Emily, you know, like from Adam Baleo.
You had Adam on it?
Oh my God, dude, him and Ryan Hull, like they were our special effects team. No, we had John Mason, we had Paul Marini doing the sun.
Yeah, they were on Odessa with us.
These guys had, I'm sure you can appreciate, they have no right with their resume being on something at this like scale.
You're correct, but that's actually what I really appreciate about Paul in particular. This was the first time that I had worked with John Mason, but I've known Paul a while. And what I love about him is that given his resume, as you suggested, you'd think that he would have no right. I think he sees it, from my experience, he actually sees it as kind of like a passing of the torch, where it's like, no, I want to do these smaller projects because there's a whole generation of young filmmakers here in New England who could benefit from working one-on-one with me. And like, if I can add something to their project, why not?
Amen.
Like Paul, I love working with Paul. He's got that very community-oriented spirit.
And that's the vibe.
That's the vibe.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Fucking that's it, dude.
That's what we're trying to make here happen.
Yeah, that's the community feel that I'm trying to. But everyone was there, dude. We're leaking into an overnight in November in the cold, and everyone is fucking happy.
Yeah,
and like I'm sure there were people there that like weren't happy. That's any set in general, but it's not for lack of trying to make them happy, you know, and trying to make them feel like welcome and warm and happy. And back to that point of like Adam Baleo and Paul Marini being on it, is these guys are the top of their craft, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're offering their time.
Yeah. It's invaluable.
They're not, it's invaluable. And to me, those are the people that I will never forget. And I hope that I stay true to these words, that if I'm blessed and, you know, I do get that jump where get a bunch of money to make something, being within my power to bring in these people that came into the sticks with me. Here's a great thing. It's like a feature film, right? Big budget.
Mm-hmm.
You got your army.
Mm.
When you're a short film, you got a militia.
Mm-hmm.
And those troops that are with you in the fucking thick of it.
Mm. That's a
why would I want to join an army without them?
Yeah.
Why would I not want them by my side when they were in the sticks with me? So it's like, as a producer, actor, writer, when you're like with these like-minded creatives that all their talents make what's written on the page possible, and not only possible, but they're there doing it for virtually nothing. Why wouldn't you ever want to work with those people?
Yeah. Ace and I like to say, what's it called? You seen the movie Fury?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Best job I ever had. And it's like when you're
worked on that?
No.
Oh.
That's what they say in the movie.
Oh, what?
Like they're literally, their tank is broken down.
Yeah.
They're covered in mud. They're about to get destroyed by the Nazis. Best job I ever had. That's what it feels like when you've got a good militia, as you say, working on your project or you're working on their project. It's like, wouldn't trade it for the world.
Wouldn't trade it for the world, you know? And again, it brings it back to like, how do you incorporate that community environment into a bigger production, you know? Like, and I think it's easier said than done. And listen, there are people that when they are a PA or whether they're they're going to edit these bits out, right? These moments of despair and sweatingness.
It's all staying in. We're getting the raw.
Is my nose looking all right? Is this still? No, I think that there's something to be said about indie films and indie energy.
Mm.
Big indie energy.
Big indie
Write
energy.
that down. Hashtag art. Hashtag big indie energy.
Watch, it's going to be trending. It's going to be trending. Big indie energy. Art.
That's legit, dude. You know that. That rolls off the tongue.
When we put this in the, that's going to be in the
big indie energy.
Yeah.
But no, this is the community, man. Like this is, you can do a lot with little.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that mentality gets lost in this industry, that you need a lot to be able to do something. But no, you don't. Like,
less is more.
Less is more.
Well, listen, man, based on everything that you're doing right now, and the energy that you bring to every room that you're a part of, I see this continuing to go well for you. I look forward to seeing each project that you're a part of. I love your spirit. I love the energy that you're trying to foster within the New England community. To anybody that's watching this episode and they want to check out your work, I know you got some things in the film festival circuit right now, so it might not be available. But if people wanted to reach out to you and, either see about collaborating or checking out your work, where do they go?
Go to my Instagram, slide in the old DMs. We also have Pasta Bedtime Productions, which is our Instagram handle. So at Pasta Bedtime Productions. And yeah, last thing I'd like to say to you and to the audience is thank you guys, and loved being here. And I think importantly, I love this community.
Mm.
And I know I'm going to the end of it. I'm landing the plane. But you said, like, being at these festivals, right?
Mm.
You're seeing the community of people, and it's like, I never would have met Steve, right? If it wasn't for Cam. And then I wouldn't have met this person that I know their name, someone, because I met him at a festival.
All the connections.
But that's what it's about. It's about a community. There's a community here. And what I've also found is with 44, quickly going back to, the idea of Paul Marini being on it and Adam Bleo, they weren't working.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like, of course, if they were on an actual job, like they weren't going to take this. But the fact that they're not working, it's like, I still love what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to make movies. So there's a community here that Hollywood isn't bringing in the movies, so people aren't working, but people still want to work. People still want to make movies. And like, we got to stop looking up to the studios to give us the money and try and find a way to get it at this level and like make it ourselves.
Got to nut up or shut up.
Nut up or shut up.
All right, Rosario.
All right.
Thanks for being here, brother.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Later.
Later.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.